In this video, I'm going to be showing you 8 super simple activities that you can do at home with your baby or toddler to encourage fine motor development. If you're new to The Innovative Mama, my name is Jess and I'm a former early childhood teacher and a mom who's on a mission to help other moms of little ones navigate the world of early motherhood. Here you'll find helpful videos on pregnancy and parenting in the early years, as well as fun and educational activities for young children. So make sure to hit that subscribe button while you're here and click the notification bell so that you're always the first to know when I upload new helpful videos. So today's video is the second in a 2-part fine motor activity video series I put together. If you haven't seen part 1, then definitely go check that out after this. I'll leave a link to that in the description box below, but these activities are really simple, take almost no time to prepare, and most can be done with objects you probably already have in your home. So let's get into my 8 activities that will help strengthen your baby or toddler's fine motor skills. So the first activity is super simple. You simply tape some toys to your baby's high chair tray and have them pull them off. If you saw my first fine motor activity video, this is very similar to the tape pull activity, but now you're adding toys to it. So depending on the size of the toys, baby is working different muscles in their hands and fingers. Just remember to always make sure you're modeling all of these activities several times before having your child do them on his or her own so that they fully understand what they are supposed to do. The next activity is squeezing sponges. So I just took a sponge and cut it up and ran the pieces under water before giving them to my son Luke to let him squeeze the sponges out onto his high chair tray. This is a fun activity that incorporates a little bit of water play without going too crazy. But I know my son loves any kind of water play, so I figured he would enjoy this activity, and he definitely did. If you want, you can also throw some toys on the tray as well for them to play with while they're doing this activity. But this is a great opportunity for baby to explore their sense of touch as well. Luke really enjoyed splashing around and moving the water around his tray. Just a little tip, be sure to squeeze out the sponge a little bit before handing it over to baby so it's not completely waterlogged if you want to keep the mess to a minimum. For the next activity, I just took a piece of cardboard and put some Velcro on it, and then I placed some Velcro strips on the back of some blocks. Then you simply just have your baby pull the blocks from the board and place them back on if they're able to do so. If you have a toddler, you can turn this into a color sorting activity by simply dividing the cardboard into colored sections. Then you'd have your child place the blocks in the correct colored section. I chose to keep this to cube-shaped blocks because they were easier to grab, but you can add different shapes if you have a toddler-aged child for more of a challenge. By the way, do you have a fine motor activity that you love doing with your baby or toddler? If so, definitely let us know in the comments below so we can try it out. So you could do the next activity in a variety of ways. I just recycled some bottle caps from some mini Gatorade bottles and used an old formula container with a hole cut in the top, but you can use a tissue box, a reusable wipe container, or a Tupperware container, or just a cardboard box with a hole in it. Any kind of container will do. But your child simply just places the bottle caps in the top of the box. Then when they finish, you can dump out the box and start all over again. This is a really simple activity, but it's great, again, for strengthening fine motor skills along with hand and eye coordination as well. Luke has really been into these kinds of activities lately when he has to drop an object into a hole, so he really enjoyed this one. Doesn't get much simpler than this next activity, which is a Post-it pull. So I just like to buy a bunch of cheap Post-it packs from the dollar store and just put them wherever, walls, tables, high chair, etc. And baby just simply pulls them off. You can also turn this into a gross motor activity as well for baby or toddler who is mobile. So you can put the Post-its around the room or around your home, and your child can go around on a really basic type of scavenger hunt and collect them. So when we did this activity, our Post-its had a bit of a hard time sticking to the walls, so the doors wound up working out better for us. I also just stuck a few Post-its on Luke's high chair tray, and he pulled them off there as well. Stacking cups is another great activity for babies and toddlers. Super simple, all you need are disposable cups. Again, stacking and building helps with fine motor skills as well as hand and eye coordination. So this is a great, simple activity for your baby or toddler to keep them busy. I'd recommend starting with bigger cups if you have a younger child and then having them move to stacking smaller cups as their motor skills become more precise and they have better hand-eye coordination. I was trying to get Luke to build with these at one point, but he really just likes stacking them one on top of another, so that's what he wound up sticking with. The next activity is a craft stick drop or craft stick sort, depending on which activity you choose to make it and the age of your child. Again, you can use whatever kind of container works for you. You can use an oatmeal container, a coffee can, or even just a plastic cup. I just reused an old container from Luke's Puff Snacks and cut a slit in the lid. You can also choose to leave the lid completely off if your baby still doesn't have the fine motor capabilities to get the craft sticks through a smaller opening. So you just have your child simply take a craft stick and drop it through the top of the container. You can turn this into a color sorting activity as well if you have an older child by having several color-coded containers with the corresponding color sticks, and then instruct your child to place the sticks in the matching colored containers. Luke really loved this activity, and once he understood what to do, he was surprisingly very focused on the task of getting the stick in the container. It was really fun to watch him manipulate the sticks to try and fit them into the hole. Just remember, if your child isn't interested in an activity, don't try and force it. You can always just introduce it to them, and then if they aren't interested at that time, just come back to it later. I tried a lot of activities with Luke that he didn't like at first, and then he loved them when I reintroduced them a couple of weeks later. So that's just something to keep in mind. So the last activity we have is paper tearing. Again, there are a few ways to do this. You can hand your child a recycled magazine and let them tear out the pages, or you can just use some wrapping paper and actually wrap some items and then let your child unwrap them, which is what we did here with one of Luke's trucks. I like to use wrapping paper from the dollar store because it tends to be really thin and easy to tear, and not to mention super affordable. But this is really fun for them, and it's just something that gets those little finger muscles moving. If you found this video helpful, then please click that thumbs up button before you go. Be sure to subscribe for more activities for little ones, and check out my baby activity playlist for even more activity ideas for your little one. For more parenting tips and educational ideas, be sure to check out theinnovativemama.com and comment below if you've tried any of these activities or if you have one that I didn't mention that you love. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.